Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. I am Frank. That is Cindy. That is Bill. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Do we react?
No.
Let's don't react.
No.
Okay. We won't.
So we have not
watch
seen
him.
each other since what? Late November? Mid-November?
Right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, dear goodness gracious, guys. Why'd
Yeah.
we all stay away from each other for so long?
I don't know.
What's been going on?
You had more important things than us.
Well,
I do. Wow, that
you-
was rough.
You thought,
I had
you
another
thought you were Mr. Big
grandchild.
Show. Well,
That's
Yes,
awesome.
I had another grandchild.
And what is her name, Bill? Remind us.
Dahlia.
Dahlia. It's a solid name.
Tell me why we're just hearing that.
Because it was the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and we haven't seen each other since. But yeah.
I knew.
oh.
But yeah.
Everyone healthy?
I feel special.
We spent, we were 4.5 weeks early, and so we spent a little bit of time in the NICU. And, but she's out. She's doing good. So we're happy.
Good.
Well, anything else been going on? How was Christmas? How was New Year's? Anything exciting happen? Cindy?
No. My goal was no excitement.
Excitement?
No, my goal was leave the house as little as possible.
Now,
Okay.
did
right.
somebody come home for the holidays?
I did, yes. She's home. She doesn't go back until Monday. It's been so nice.
Your
my
daughter.
God.
Your
Yeah.
daughter's home.
Yes.
Yes,
I
her
didn't know
daughter
a
is home.
cat escaped and came back or something.
No,
What was going
no.
on?
Her daughter,
I was like, I don't know what's
who was
happening.
away at college,
Okay, yeah.
came home. Yep. She's a cutie.
They're enjoying pictures for those of you who are not watching this on video.
She's beautiful.
So, yeah. And then,
That's grandchild number 5, you said. Yes,
yeah,
Bill?
it's number 5.
That's awesome.
I love little
See-
little faces they make.
Mm-hmm.
My memories being here at Titusville High School, because Bill was my teacher when I was here, were his kids as little ones running around. So now they have kids, and the whole thing's pretty nuts. The whole idea is insane. Just thinking about all that. But yeah, on my end, I presented my research at the Field Museum, and did a interview with a puppet tuna named Toonie, which actually comes out Tuesday. That will be out Tuesday on MeTV at 7 a.m. So
There you go.
that was very.
That's kind of the Captain Kangaroo time.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it
That's
was-
a sentence I didn't
Yes.
never expect it. I did an interview.
with a
With a
puppet-
tuna.
With a tuna.
Yeah. Yeah, it was probably the most hysterical interview I've ever done in my entire life.
How
it's
could
a-
it not be?
It's a
tuna.
couple of lifelong comedians that run this show. One talks for the tuna, and the other guy, Bill, runs the show and it's just between takes, it is literal one lines getting tossed everywhere. It is maybe the funniest crap you could ever imagine.
Uh-huh.
It was
So you had a
pretty
good
awesome.
time.
It was a good time, yeah.
Okay,
I got
good.
to see snowfall. That was epic. I was
Okay.
running around like a little kid. It was pretty great.
So you actually put shoes on for
I did
this?
not wear flip-flops. Dear goodness gracious, it hurt not wearing flip-flops, but
It would hurt if you wore flip-flops. Brother.
it would have totally been worth it. But my toes probably appreciate me not doing that. So
Yeah.
yes, it was good.
We went camping over the break, and I guess I didn't pay attention to the weather report enough. It was like 38
Oh, that
degrees
Tuesday when it
Yeah.
dropped? Oh, yeah.
That'll do it.
And we tent camp, like we camp.
Right. And you were not prepared. Oh, goodness. Oh.
That'll do it.
I
do
can't
it.
imagine flip-flops and snow, Frank.
Hey,
I can't.
I'm down for flip-flops and anything.
Oh.
Like,
Okay.
It
sign
was
me up.
so cold, even the raccoons were like, no, we're
No,
good.
we're fine.
We're leaving you alone.
not
We're
young.
fine.
And, because you like Alexander Springs, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, the raccoons there are,
I knew it was going to be
they're epic.
cool. I was
Right.
ill prepared.
Yeah, for it to get down in the 30s. Yeah. Wow.
Are you guys ready to chat with our guest today?
Well,
Have we caught up
Do we
enough?
Yeah.
Have we caught up
Do we-
enough?
I wanted to tell her my raccoon story.
There's a raccoon story. We have to hear a raccoon story first.
At
Hear a raccoon
Alexander
story.
Springs, I took my daughters camping, and I left the cooler in the little screen room, and there was only like condiments in it. That's it. But the raccoons during the night, I was sleeping in the van, and my girls were sleeping in the tent, and the raccoon went in. Oh, it killed camping for my girls.
I
could
made
not-
that mistake
I
the
could
first
not-
time we went. I didn't
Did
know
you?
any better.
Yeah.
I wasn't rugged. I wasn't a camp
They came in
extraordinaire.
and you would think that a bottle of mustard was like gold
Goodness
or something,
gracious.
because they went after this bottle of mustard. And we're going like around the girls' tent. Oh, they were freaking out. They were like, Dad, we're never going camping with you again. Never.
The first time we went, I didn't know any better, so I left like one of those like lunchbox coolers just sitting out on the picnic table.
Uh-huh.
They tore that thing apart all over the campsite. I'm like the next morning scrambling, like kind of crying, because sometimes I do that. Like, we can't litter. I gotta find all the pieces.
And they're not
He
not
ate
like
my
polite.
sandwich, and I wanted that.
And you
sandwich.
wanted that sandwich. And they're not, like dainty about it.
No,
Yeah,
no,
they're
he was
like
not
savage.
polite. There was stuff everywhere,
Yeah, all over the
shredded.
place.
That's the one critter you don't play with. Is a raccoon.
Oh yeah, I
you-
can imagine.
I'll play with possums all day long. Nope, no raccoons.
Yeah, they always warn us about the bear. The bears have never bothered us. It's always raccoons.
Always raccoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good times.
Okay, there we go. I
All
told
right,
my
now,
story.
now you're ready. Okay.
I'm
all right.
good.
It's a
Thank
good
you.
one.
So today on the podcast, we are joined by Zack Spurlock. Zack, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Now, me and you met through a story in Satellite Beach, through the whole my crocodile buddy story. It's which was it was a good story with a sad ending, but it kind of is what it is. But it was awesome for me because I got to meet a pretty awesome fella, and we've been hanging out a little bit ever since. And it's been really great getting to know you because you have a very diverse background and kind of an interesting career path that I'm excited to talk about because you do. I always think I do a lot of stuff until I meet people that are 1,000 times busier than I am, and I go, how do you all do that? Like,
Yeah.
how is that even a thing?
How do you find the time?
I would never say I'm busier than the Alligator Robb, but it's fun. The more and I think it all comes back to ADD. I don't know whether you have it or not, but it lends itself to having your hands in a lot of pots, a lot of irons in the fire.
There you go. Yeah.
So to me, it's just to try to not ever get bored, so it either comes from multiple income streams or multiple hobbies and, balancing them all. So it's been fun.
We had you out in the field with us yesterday. What is today? Today's Wednesday, so Monday. And we were talking about a little bit about the things you do. So I learned early on that you were a part of the Surfing Santa experiment that was going on over there.
Right.
Which,
So that's what I got into over Christmas break.
Yeah, that you're paying for a little bit now.
Yep.
But you do a lot of stuff along with real estate. So kind of walk us
hold
through
on, hold on. Whoa.
Oh.
Surfing Santas. I saw pictures of it in the paper. I don't know what it's all about. What is it all
So
about?
it's the world's largest collection of Santas that are dressed up and then go out and surf.
It's a ball
So-
of fun.
so-
It's
yeah,
exactly
I mean-
what it's.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's in the heart of Cocoa Beach. And
So is it like raising money for something?
And it does, yeah. That's a great question.
Okay.
So,
You know
so
the guy.
Grind for Life is one of the main
Okay.
beneficiaries of it, and then there's a couple other directions it goes as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we had Mike Rogers on the podcast before.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
He's an awesome guy.
Okay.
And so yeah, it all started out just with one family, the Trossett family. George Trossett dressed up as Santa. His son was an elf, and they had a cheerleader on the beach, which was his grandson, and then a picture showed up in the Florida Today. And,
okay.
and then the next year, a bunch of his buddies reached out and said, "Hey, we want to do this. Where's next year?" And he's like, "I don't know. Show up at the beach house and we'll figure it out."
Okay.
It grew to like 20 Santas and then 75 and then hundreds.
Oh,
and
wow.
so,
Cool.
we ended up with over 10,000 people on the beach this year in Cocoa Beach.
Yeah, I
and
saw the pictures of
Yeah.
it. It was incredible.
it's a good time. And then the media gets behind it. And so that's what's fun to kind of put Cocoa Beach on the map. There was over 1 billion media impressions within 24 hours of surfing Santas around the world.
Oh, wow.
Reuters was broadcasting it live on their on their news channel.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it was little small town goes big for a moment there, and it's fun. I dress up as Buddy the Elf. You can't see, but I popped my calf muscle mid surfing Santa, so I'm in a
wow.
walking boot for
That's
another.
how you did it.
Yeah, I was,
No.
Buddy the Elf went down in the surf, so it was.
Oh, wow.
Tragic.
And my favorite part of it is Orlando Health is the main sponsor, and so man, they just took me right in, gave me an MRI, and we kept it in the family. So
Oh, wow. That's great.
it was
my
great.
God.
I had always wanted to go to that event, and I actually made it this year, and it was freaking epic.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It's
Watching people jump out of helicopters to hula dancing to surfing to you name it. It was all going on. It was really neat.
Yeah.
That was really neat. So walk us through a little bit of your career path, right? So you're from Brevard County,
Yes.
and you do a lot of your work over in Satellite Beach, but you do a lot of things that kind of worked you to where you're at now. So kind of take us through that career path.
So yeah, for me, I would say I'm born and raised on the Space Coast, but really I was born in Sarasota, moved here when I was 1, but grew up all things Space
Close
Coast.
enough,
Yeah,
yeah.
my dad was big waterman, surfer, fisher, diver guy, and so he raised me doing that. I mean, I remember night diving with him off the beach at 10 years old. And you're just literally in this dark, and you only see what your flashlight's pointed at. And, people say like, well, how is that not terrifying? Well, I learned from an early age, you only think about what you can see, not what you can't.
No,
That
is
so,
Preach.
That's
No.
not the way Cindy lives her life.
Absolutely not. No,
That's exactly the
danger
truth. though.
lurks
That's
everywhere.
exactly the truth.
Yep. And so for me, just I kind of wanted my life to revolve around that. I originally went to school and wanted to go into the surfing industry. All the coolest friends I knew were surf reps. And so I went to school in Merritt Island High and then up to UNF in Jacksonville for a marketing degree. And I started, dipping my toe into the surfing industry, and I quickly learned that it wasn't for me. And whether it was the windshield time that was required, it's not as glamorous as just hanging out with professional surfers. So I, when I was in college, I said, I'm going to do anything but what my dad does, because I was going to be my own man, and lo and behold, within my final year of college, I started looking at what my dad does, and he was a general contractor and a real estate broker. And I started asking, so what is this that you do? And so next thing I knew, like, I started to develop a passion for that, and took some building construction management classes. And when I graduated, got straight into the construction. He had a couple projects going on, and then got my real estate license. I preferred the real estate, so I went that track, because to me, construction, you just have so many more balls in the air at any given time, and the liability that your neck is out, because we had big projects going on. Like, there was a mattress barn down, so commercial job down in Jensen Beach, and then building a big riverfront custom house here. So it was a good chance to like really
So much
trial
can
by
go
fire.
wrong.
And then, at the same time doing the real estate, because they really go hand in hand a lot. You might find somebody a property and then build them a custom house on it. But I loved how clean the real estate deals were. I didn't have a bunch of subs to try to make sure he's going to be here Tuesday so that the next guy's ready to go Thursday, and all the scheduling and all that kind of stuff. So I really just gravitated towards real estate and decided to not get my GC license, which was the plan. The plan was get them both, and
Right.
And so, so that's, that 2002-ish is when I started. That's when I graduated college, and been doing it ever since.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a good ride.
Now you were telling me that you do a lot of other things too that are quite interesting. You said you started off as a lifeguard.
Yeah. So, and I mean, man, if there's any kids out here listening to this, I can't think of a better job. I mean, I had the Sabaro's Pizza job, and I had some other jobs that were like fun. But as far as teaching responsibility, life-saving skills, and, just things that you're going to need throughout life, there's no telling when you end up in a first responder situation and you can do something other than look around at people, And
my brother was a lifeguard, Orange County. And I think one of the first days he was doing CPR on a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
pull him in. And, yep.
In Cocoa Beach, and that was my main, stomping grounds because it was all the way into Atlantic through Cape Canaveral. Cocoa Beach, there's not a whole lot that goes on, but my first day of work, we ended up having to do a rescue. We were at Shepherd Park, and, like a lot of lifeguards would never do a single rescue because the waves are small and, it's pretty quiet. It's not California or Hawaii or something where they're literally having riptides all over the place. But yeah, I mean, it was like, wow, this is game time. This is life or death. Let's practice what we learned. And, you know, I was kind of hooked there because there's definitely adrenaline junkie aspect of it too.
Oh, yeah.
That keeps you on your toes, whether you're helping somebody with a jellyfish thing or, you know, an actual life-saving event. So it was cool for me.
Well, at the end of the day, you know you did something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make a difference. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's been interesting. I mean, I know we don't have a ton of time to get into it, but in my life, there's been a number of times where I've ended up in situations that, you know, it's first responder stuff. I remember being a 13-year-old kid hearing a head-on collision in front of my house, like on Tropical Trail, and we got there first. I remember my buddy and I were skateboarding and climbing in the back of this car and, you know, talking to this guy through it as he's in rough shape, you know, and those kind of things, they continue to happen. And if you've got the training, you don't freak out, you know, you can be that voice of reason and calm. And so, and then if you like extreme stuff like, you know, you and I do, you never know when, hey, that alligator turns around and, you know, does something unexpected or whatever. Like, you really got to always have your wits about you.
That
whatever
adrenaline,
that is.
I think keeps you young too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean, it's funny. You know, I know when I
Until
started
it
doing,
doesn't.
It makes me feel old. I don't know what you're talking about.
Until it doesn't.
Right.
it's interesting with stuff like that. You know, I mean, when you're involved with things like that, I think it makes you continually calmer the more it happens, which, you know, if you handle it the wrong way, of course, can lead to complacency. But at the same time, it keeps you on an edge, which is good for you. It's good for your career and other things you do. I think it's one of the healthiest things people are going to have in their life.
Yep.
That little bit of adrenaline dump is a beautiful thing.
Right.
So tell us about real estate and Satellite Beach. So what do you do over there? What's your typical customer base like? What's the house market like? Walk us through.
So I would say, so my career, at about probably about 2019, it was really getting monotonous for me, and I'll get to your question if I remember it.
No, please.
I get on tangents. But,
Trust me, Frank is the king of tangents.
Oh, I am. Yes.
But so basically, I was working for another large brokerage here, and I was starting to kind of get bored with it. You know, I had plateaued my production. It might not mean anything to people out there, but here, if you sell right around the $12 to $15 million a year, that puts you in the top 50 agents out of 6,000. So it's a good thing to aspire to. But I had also just kind of maintained, and every January I would hit like starting at zero again. I'm like, gosh, how am I ever going to get there again? Like, it was kind of overwhelming to think about. I didn't really have systems and processes in place, and I would just wake up every morning and go try to sell a house. And I got a phone call from the team I'm on now. A guy named Kirk Kessel had called me, and he had started Compass Brokerage here. So Compass is the number one brokerage in the U.S. Most Floridians hadn't heard of it because it was more in New York and, you know, New England, and then over in California and stuff. The affluent markets around the U.S., Compass was it. And in 2020, everybody started leaving those states and finding their way to Florida. Compass knew that. And so in 2020, they started opening up brands or offices here, got one on the Space Coast. So Kirk was the principal agent there. He called me and probably called all 500 people in the top 500, you know, to start recruiting. But his timing couldn't have been more perfect because I was starting to feel a little bit burnt out and just kind of bored, you know, maybe it's the ADD thing. And what these guys had was systems and processes. They taught me how to target, you know, who is my target audience. So when you're asking me about my customer base, it was kind of anybody. And I really honed in on social media, and my passion is all things water. So surfing, fishing, diving. And so I allowed the social media to brand me and really attract my, you know, my vibe and my tribe, so to speak. And so that helped me gain really market share on waterfront because I started selling the lifestyle. And so, and I do it because that's what I love. I love to be able to come home. And yeah, I love to be able to come home and put the paddleboard in. I don't have to have a million boat to go out, I can have a $100 paddleboard or kayak and go out and catch a fish and watch a sunset and have the dog on the front or my 12-year-old daughter or something. And to me, I think that resonated with people, and it really just built my brand.
Buying a house is one of the most stressful things a lot of people will ever do in their entire life. So it makes sense that somebody that they can see themselves in and that they feel like they have a connection with, that's going to be who they're going to trust to find them the right fit. That's genius.
And interestingly, like, you know, in life, you start to take risks, and you have to try to balance out which risk is, you know, a smart one or which is just not looking before you jump, you know, like, and so one of the risks I took was buying a house on the water. And I remember having an older mentor that I'm like, hey, I'm going from this house and it's here, and then this other one's going to be here. The bank says I can afford it, but man, it seems like a lot, you know? And, you know, he's like, I think you should go for it. And it was interesting how, you know, I was able to do it. I was just conservative because honestly, like what we skipped over is that whole decade where I lost pretty much everything in the 2009.
I thought that the second you said when you started, I thought, he went through the 2008
so
crash.
It was amazing, and then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, and then it was kind of like I was like the little turtle trying to stick his head back out of the shell in, you know, 2019, where I'd started to build a base, but every single time, and you read the news and it's all about, well, we're going to see another crash and it's going to be a double dip and all these sort of things. And so, you know, having a group around you that really mentor you, that have been there, done that, it's the best thing I've ever had in my life, you know, is those kind of guys that pour into you, you know, and it's probably what you have been for Frank all of these years, you know.
Has.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I've been blessed to have a few of those in my life, and Bill's for sure been one of them. No doubt about it. It's, you know, so you're talking about that way of marketing yourself, you know, and having the marketing background you do. How, you know, people that are out there that are trying to figure that out for their businesses, how should they specifically go to approach that? I mean, what would be your suggestions?
So I get phone calls all the time from new agents getting into it, and I love it because to me there is enough pie for everyone, you know, and there is always going to be room at the table. And so what I tell people, do not focus on who's going to give you the best split, because every brokerage is going to take a split, and try to get the one who can pour into you and coach you. And that's all you know, my dad offered me $25,000 a year with 4 years of college experience. And, you know, a lot of people might go to college for 4 years and be like, man, I want way more than that. But to me, it was all about the experience. He was the veteran, you know, and then we set up some things where there was growth potential there. And every job that you get in real estate, there should always be growth potential. It should be, hey, if you sell this, then you get this little piece. It might not be a huge piece, but it's all about. So our brokerage, they have some minimums required if you want to come on. But I hired a girl that had just moved up from Boca, and she didn't have any sales here, and yet I knew that she had everything it would take. And so we gave her the opportunity. Hey, come on the team. I brought her on. So I'm on the Carpenter Kessel team, and then I've got the Spurlock team under it. And so I brought her on my team, and then she had access to do open houses. And you start doing open houses at $1 million, $2 million houses. That's how you get the opportunities, because it gives you these conversations that, hey, you might not be living on a waterfront house right out of the gate. But what I was getting at, and I didn't say, is so I ended up taking the risk on that house. And then sure enough, like, it was a little, you know, stressful at first, but I had the reserves in case I didn't sell anything for 6 months. And, you know, we were able to figure that out, kind of thing. But the reality is I could then build the trust of the buyers, because I'm selling them what I also enjoy. And so, yeah, that's kind of the thing. But if I was going to start, which I did, without owning the house that I own, I would just be starting with conversations at an open house with a team that has listings, because when you start out as an agent, you got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Wow. It's an interesting way of looking at it too. I'm always, I don't know, I'm always amazed by people on different career paths. You know, mine was not normal either. So it's, I have no room to say anything about anything, but
There you go.
I know. So you still doing a lot of diving too, correct?
Yeah, and that was fun talking to you about that, you know, a couple days ago. So, everything in real estate, you can pretty much be justified in one way or another as being business related, because it's all relational. Whether you're going to lunch at wherever, you know, you might run into somebody next, and I've had that happen where, like, if I tried to save my money and pack a lunch that day, I would have not got that listing that got me X number of dollars in contacts and stuff like that. So everywhere I go is just another chance to meet someone. And so I'm going diving on Thursday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
and every single person on the boat is people that we also do business with, you know, and it's like friendships turn into business turns into friendships, and that's honestly how I got involved with the Surfing Santas thing. You know, the guy who organized the event, I met him and we started doing some real estate transactions, and then, you know, kind of everything comes full circle. So it's funny, all the hobbies tie in. And then what I was telling you as well is, for real estate, the best thing you can be is the hub, they say, whether somebody needs a plumber or an AC guy or a surf report or a diving report or maybe some lobsters for dinner. Like, if you can be the hub for all the things, then you're the go-to, you know, and then when it is time to buy a house, they probably buy a house from me too.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Ingenious.
Well, they say in education, you know, they talk about that it's relationships.
It is.
And I think that's true in everything. It's about relationships. It's about if people feel comfortable with you and know you and you know them. And yeah, that's
it's a know you, like you, trust you business.
Yep.
And if you don't have those three things, they're probably not going to use you.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really good.
Know you, like you, trust you. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh my garage, I'm going to use that one every now and then. That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good. Zach, thank you so much for chatting with us about all this stuff. Really appreciate your time, and man, just nothing but the best to you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
We're going to be kidnapping you more often, by the way.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about some adventures, because there's plenty of those, and
Yeah,
I'd love to trade stories with you.
No doubt. Yeah, we'll have to. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Bill, Cindy, anything exciting going on this weekend?
Please no.
no.
I need no excitement.
no excitement. No.
Yeah, I say that every now and then. Cindy has something exciting going on. Every now and then, but for the most part, she avoids the excitement.
Although I did do
my life has been too much excitement.
That's right. You just live the excitement.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And so when you relax, you don't want excitement.
No.
Yeah.
We finally finished construction. I hope to do nothing else to my house for the whole year.
During all the rain that happened up here in Titusville, their house flooded.
That was
Yeah.
that
That
was
was crazy. We got
insane.
18
Biblical.
inches.
proportions.
18 inches in the course of a
And
night.
that was right when the crocodile thing was going on too.
That was right.
It
It was. Yes, it was. That's hysterical. I didn't even think about that, but it was.
At
You're right.
one point,
Yeah.
when I had to go out into the backyard while the house was flooding, because there was a stray kitten that was like clinging to a chair, screaming, and I couldn't leave her there. But as I'm walking out there, I'm thinking, this is how I'm gonna go. There's a gator somewhere in my backyard right now. I'm gonna die saving a stray cat.
It's not like you don't know a
And
guy.
Frank's gonna say, "I taught you better."
The gator would have taken the cat before it would have taken you.
Hey, so I'll give you an honest truth. Okay, here's an honest truth of the way things happen. For years of doing work with alligators, anytime I would go to a neighborhood and there'd be an alligator walking around the neighborhood, every neighborhood cat would be there hanging out with it.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing. You'll see an alligator like under a car. There'd be 20 cats hanging out with it, just laying down, chilling out like they were old buddies. I've seen it
Really?
over and over, and I mean, I've seen it 100 times, but I haven't seen it 1,000 times. I kid you
Wow.
not.
But not a dog.
No.
No, never a dog.
Even alligators are like, no, not messing with a cat. No.
It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. But if there's one walk in the neighborhood, every neighborhood cat will be there with it. Every time. It's not a one-off. I mean, it's every flipping
Wow.
time.
Okay. I never realized that.
Yep. I got pictures of it. I should break out some pictures of it. Okay. I got one last question for you. Speaking of what's happening on this weekend, what's a typical weekend look like at your house?
So, I usually am doing an open house. I try to do it on Saturday, because within the last 2 years, my real estate coach told me I need to carve out Sundays or one day a week as be your like mental
Yes.
reset time, because real estate really can be 24/7. And so I was blessed to get an assistant that could make it me never offline, but I could still scale
Wow.
back on Sundays. And so that means Saturday is going to be an open house day for probably the prime time of like a 12 to 2 or something like that. So I like to wake up, go surfing or fishing or something, and then go to the open house, and then, something with the fam, and then Sunday's going to be a chill day of
Veg
whatever
mode?
the
Yeah.
weather permits,
Okay.
But it's not going to be veg mode. No.
No.
Like
You're
the
not,
way
you're not
I
sitting on the couch?
recharge,
No.
the way I recharge
Yep.
is doing something fun.
Yep.
No,
That's
he,
typically the way I am.
he
too,
seems
yeah.
like a go guy.
Yeah, I'm not good at sitting on the couch. It's
Yeah.
not something that really works out that
I
way.
excel. Sitting on the couch.
That's
I
how.
had a quick question.
Please.
Yes, Cheyenne.
I was wondering, what is the most expensive house you've sold?
That's a good
Ooh.
question. That's a great
well
question.
played.
So I would say probably around $3 million. I currently have 2 right now listed at 5.5 million and 4.2. So if those go this year, then we'll have a
Wow.
new record. So
Just a little outside of
outside of my price
just
range
tiny,
too. Yeah.
tiny bit.
No,
But
I know
it's
the
been
market
interesting.
in Satellite Beach has, like everything else has went up. What's a typical house on the water, like say on the Grand Canal or something, go for?
So the Grand Canal's just like the crown jewel. Like
Is it really?
I would say it almost pulls this very similar pricing to open water, because a lot of times the open water doesn't have the water depth. So if you have a 40-foot boat, then you might prefer to be on the Grand Canal, even though it's a canal.
No
So
joke. Okay.
so yeah, I mean, but you can still get in waterfront for in the 700 to 800 range for a starting price, and then it's just going to go up from there based on how finished off it is, or how big it is.
Well, I always wondered. I've been in a lot of those backyards, as you can imagine.
There's so have all of us grown up here,
Mhm.
basically? So I would say what has taken me a little bit of time is to recalibrate myself to the prices, because I know that I bought my very first place for $65,000 in 2002,
Yep.
and now it's worth 4 times that or something. And so if I was only stuck in saying, hey, things are too expensive, it would really cripple me when I'm trying to sell something.
Yes.
And so what I've had to do is just take more of a zoomed out approach to how expensive are we compared to Fort Lauderdale or compared to
Boca.
Vero Beach? And so those areas for sure. But then as you start getting closer and you start getting 45 minutes from here, an expensive house in Brevard County is $5,000. An expensive house in Vero Beach is $15 to $20 million.
Yeah.
What did I say? $5,000?
You did.
But
You
we
said
knew what you
5,000.
meant, though.
Yeah.
$5 million for here is an expensive house, but down in Vero, 15 to 20 million is an expensive house. So when you're talking
Yeah.
less than an hour away, you see that kind of jump. I say that Brevard County is still cheap, and so what we're seeing is money coming from south to north. Everybody talks about the money coming from north to
New
south.
York.
Like, yes, exactly. But no, what we're seeing is that Trojan horse coming in the back door of, money marching up. So the girl that's on my team now that came from Boca, she came here because it's a phenomenal place to raise her 2 kids, with her husband, and her husband loves to surf, and, you can't find a better town than this. And so they sell their house in Boca that probably was worth more than what the place is that they bought in Satellite.
Mhm.
And so that's the mentality that I've had to grab a hold of and understand really the buyer profile that's coming here. So if you haven't bought real estate here yet and you're waiting for it to drop, I would probably get some other advice out there and some other opinions, because I think it's got a lot of legs.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much for the time, brother. Really do
Yep.
appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
All right, guys, we're going to call it into this one.
Okay.
Thank you all for tuning in to the EEARSS podcast, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. If you'd like to learn more about EEARSS, again, the longest acronym on the planet, you can go over to EEARSS.org or ears.com or alligatorrobb.com. Rob has 2 B's. Is my last name, not my first name. It's a whole thing. Don't overthink it. Go over, learn more about us, the research we're doing, and what's going on, and see how you can help. Thank you all for tuning in. We will catch you all next week. Bye-bye.